All wings report in.
HouseDog, standing by.
Mother Goose, standing by.
Lock S-foils in attack position. Animal Squadron ready for battle.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Animal Squadron podcast. I'm one of your many, many hosts, HouseDog. With me, as always, the one, the only, the hairiest host, the guy that wears glasses. He's the Omega of our group, the one, the only Mother Goose.
Hello. Hi.
Was that your Omega impression?
It wasn't. It was so bad. I'm sorry. It's Doug.
Well, we're just going to slide over Mother Goose there and head on right over to my favorite co-host, the guy who missed last week, and honestly, I don't even think I want to do the show without him anymore. It's the one, the only, the Minoc man himself. Hi, buddy.
What's up, everybody? Lowtech Tuck here.
We missed you a whole lot last week, bud.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I missed you guys too, and it was really weird, like listening to the podcast again with just you guys on there and not me on there. It was just kind of strange. Took me back in some time
To the OG days, especially being our 40th episode. I feel like that's a big milestone for us.
Yeah,
But he's here for the 41st.
that's
Listen,
right.
I
I'll
don't
be there
care-
for 100, baby.
That's what I was going to say. I don't care what's happening in our lives. We are not doing our 100th episode unless all three of us are there.
Oh yeah, yeah. We will hold this podcast hostage for weeks if we have to
Exactly.
to make sure we'll all be here.
We'll just go from 99 to 101 and then record episode 100 when we can.
Retroactive.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I like that.
Yeah.
So before, I just want to sound the alarms and say, thank God, today is the Bad Batch finale episode. We're done after this. We're done.
Did it.
Start
We
a slow
stuck to
clap.
it. We only got off track for one episode. I'm proud of us.
Yeah, I am too.
Did that episode release in the middle of the Bad Batch episodes? Or is that still
Yeah.
in the vault? Okay.
No, it did. Yeah, so it's Bad Batch season 1 and then
Oh, and
we
y'all
had
did the Jedi episodes.
we did Jedi, the Fallen Order as like a little break, and then season 2, and we did it.
We did it.
So today we're talking about Pabu, Tipping Point, The Summit, and Plan 99. This is episodes 13 through 16 of season 2. All we have.
My mom texted me yesterday, actually, and she said, hey, I just listened to the last episode of Bad Batch, and I just want you to know, whenever I was a kid, there was an old episode of Johnny Quest where they had an electricity-eating monster.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, because back whenever we first started the show, we'd always talk about how George was inspired by Johnny Quest and Kurosawa and just all the inspirations that he had, old westerns, old samurai films. And of course, Johnny Quest was one of those.
Yeah. Dude, that's really
Inspirations.
cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just looked it up. Its name is literally the Energy Monster, and it appeared in episode 120.
The more
There
you
you go.
know.
The more you know. That's cool. I
love it.
To our listeners, you should look it up. It's got a very unique design. I like it.
Shout out to my mom.
For real.
Shout out to Mac's mom.
There you go,
Shout out.
Mom.
Yeah. Okay, so first episode, Pabu.
Pabu, and our listeners, I don't know if you guys like the layout of how we've been doing the episodes lately, where we kind of just breeze through the whole thing and then we kind of talk about talking points. But luckily, I actually did my job as a host of this show, and I watched all the episodes today. So I'm fresh and ready to go. All my notes are in chronological order, so they should help us out.
Wait.
Let's-
Elijah, did you hear this, man? He called himself
did.
the host of the show. The host.
I said one of the hosts.
No,
Check
I'm
yourself.
I'm just
Replay
messing
the
with you,
footage,
dog.
Elijah. I actually did my job as a host of this show.
I'm really tempted to. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, when you say replay the footage, cut back to you saying one of the hosts and cut out the word one. So all there is the host.
Prank him, John.
Got him. But yes, Pabu. I would say another filler episode, but one I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Way better as a filler episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, honestly,
For me... Go ahead, buddy.
I was really excited to finally see the Bad Batch in like a tranquil, peaceful setting, like that they can finally relax. Like that that made me so happy.
The cool thing about Pabu was, Elijah, you're right. It was a filler episode for what's to come. But it didn't make me as upset as, the filler episodes we've talked about before with this season. This was a very much needed break between all the chaos and drama that we got with the last batch of episodes.
Right.
And I feel like this was the point in the season where you needed a breath as well.
Mm-hmm. It was really, really well placed.
Yes. So here at the beginning, if we're ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're with Fee and Omega. And they're doing a deal with some people. And the only thing I really care about in this shot is it's the return of the killer caterpillars from episode 2. Attack of the Clones.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yes, uh-huh.
We never have gotten to see them how they kill things, and now we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
Let's see. I mean, do we want to, Mac, saying you've got such in-depth notes, do we want to just do a quick run-through, or do you want to go note by note?
I mean, my notes are just pinpointed in certain scenes so that, like, you can talk about things that either happened before or after that pinpoint, but they're usually at the beginning of, like, the next action point.
Gotcha. Okay, so do you have anything before they... Well, we actually get them kind of talking because Fee discusses Sid and if they're working together, because Sid calls them and says, hey, remember, we're supposed to be watching each other's backs here. And then we get the discussion that between Fee and the Bad Batch that they're not really working with Sid anymore, and Fee tells them, okay, you can come with me, and she gives them some location. I mean, do you guys have anything for this little bit?
Just like before that, like whenever they're leaving the bar planet, is Omega's bell shot. I like seeing Omega's progression into like, she's like now a really good tactician.
Yeah.
In these little skirmishes that they get in between, the main points of the episode. And as well as Tuck playing cards against him. I said Tuck. Tech playing cards against himself on top of Gonki inside the Marauder while all this is going down.
Yeah, and says like basically like, finally I have a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tells Gonki, yes, Gonki, I'm playing against myself. It's the only time this game is a real challenge.
Right.
And then, like Elijah mentioned, Sid calls and threatens them.
Yeah, so I had actually forgot about the entire bar fight. I really liked this.
Yeah.
This is why Elijah's notes suck and mine are better.
Yeah, it was, honestly, as far as the fight scene goes...
Wait,
I'll let you guys duke it out real quick, sorry.
Wait. No, we're not duking it out. I need to check something.
He's about to check to see if I'm right or not.
No. The last episode that I took notes on was the clone conspiracy. And
that was 2 episodes ago.
No, that was like 6 or 7 episodes ago.
Yeah, that was 2 podcast episodes ago.
Yeah, I meant 2 pods ago.
Oh, yes. And the only note I have for that episode is millions of clones. That's all I wrote. So yes, Mac, your notes are much better than mine.
Throwback to the first 10 episodes that we did on the pod where Elijah would have like 6 notes, and I would go on for about 45 minutes, like on one scene.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Tuck. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, the bar fight, what I really liked was, like, it was just very much just classic Star Wars being basically a space western where, like, you know,
Yeah.
the deal's going south and Fee's weirdly confident, and you're like, well, what happened? Like, the bad guys are. And, you know, like, the one bad guy says, well, you should have brought more muscle than that, whenever Hunter throws the knife at the death centipede and kills it. And then, like, Wrecker's like, well, she did. And then he gets up and just starts beating the crap out of people. Like, I love that. The
Yes.
comedic timing was beautiful.
It was pretty great.
Yep.
I promise. I remember everything else that happens in the episode. I just forgot the first little bit.
Boo. Boo.
Doom
Yeah,
on
yeah,
you.
so
Doom
Sid's
on
threat happens, and Fee suggests that they go to these coordinates, and it's Pabu, which
Yeah.
has like a total Moana vibe to it.
Yeah. Yeah, just like this really chill island society. I'd love to live on Pabu.
It was nice. It was I like this episode a whole lot for just like it really put you at ease. Like I said, from like everything that's happened to this point, like I think everybody finally felt just like, we're not gonna have to run away or nothing's gonna explode this episode.
Right, and the like we can talk about this more later as we get into it, but the fact that like they could potentially find a home, like a real home that they're not having to go do all these jobs for. We can just stay here and chill.
Yeah, well, and also, like, isn't it beautiful that, like, in this episode on Pabu, the only problem that our characters face is only a natural disaster. Like, it's not an empire trying to kill them. It's not someone trying to screw them over. It's just an earthquake. Like, that's kind of nice. Yeah.
And I mean, it had been a long time since there was one, you know, which means it'll probably be a while before there's another one.
Yeah, he said like 30 years, I think, the main guy.
Yeah.
Forgot his name.
Yeah.
But.
So we land on Pabu. We're introduced to Shep, who is the man that Tuck was just talking about. He's like the mayor of Pabu. He takes care of the people. And Wrecker makes an interesting comment to Tech after they all say their hellos and everything. He says, you've got some competition about Shep to Tech, because Fee and Tech have had like this weird kind of flirtationship.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly one-sided, but it's interesting.
Yeah, a nice will they, won't they?
Yes.
We should have known. We should have known what was coming in the finale.
Oh,
I
don't
don't know
even
what
go
you're
there.
referring to.
I'm not ready to get sad yet. You stop that.
Yeah,
You stop that
exactly.
right now.
Oh, yeah. I don't think we ever say this, but, you know, massive spoilers for these episodes.
Yeah. But also, too, if you're just picking one and you're like, oh, this is their last episode of season 2, I'm going to play this one first. I mean, you kind of did that to yourself a little bit.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to make a character point
Yeah, go ahead.
after Elijah makes his point, because I stopped him halfway through.
No, that's okay. I wanted to talk about Omega's friend. I can't remember what her name is, but I don't know. It's just really nice getting to see Omega have a friend, you know?
Oh, that's the Cortez sisters.
Not the Cortez sisters.
The Smith
Different.
sisters.
The Smith sisters.
Yeah, the Smith sisters. There it goes.
Even
But
though
no,
there's
I
only
don't-
one of them.
I don't know. It's just like, I think there's so much stuff going on. It's easy to forget that Omega's still a kid who never really got a childhood. So, like, it's just nice getting to see her have a friend and go out and just, like, spend a day on the ocean, you know? Let's go watch the sunset in a boat. Good
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it
Fee
didn't
makes
work
that
out for
point
her
in the
this
beginning of the
time, but-
episode as well.
Yeah, yeah.
No, the character that I was talking about was the old man that they meet while they're exploring the town, called Mr. Inta. Mr. Inta is voiced by Zeb's voice actor, Mr. Steve Bloom.
Oh, that's
Really?
cool.
So anytime like I find a really interesting voice in Star Wars, I immediately get on IMDb and find their character and then
Yeah.
look at all the work that they've done until I recognize something, which the first thing that popped up was Rebels, that he was the voice actor for Zeb. And
Nice.
he's also been involved with Star Wars projects for like years. This guy has done a
that's-
ton of voice work, and a lot of it is Star Wars. And a lot of it's
That's
like
really
video
cool.
games and stuff. But he's done a lot of Star Wars projects, so he's been around for a while.
Yeah. Okay. So, just to kind of keep us going, what other notes do you guys have on this episode before we move on to the next one?
Tech and Fee's Romantic Sunset.
Yes. Good for them.
And
This
I
is
think, like, the really cool thing they've done with Tech's character this season is really try to... Well, whoa, now that I think about it, Tech and Crosshair have kind of been on the same journey this season. That just hit me.
Yeah.
Like, kind of finding their humanity, but in a different way. Like, Tech is just a human calculator, right? And Crosshair is just a soldier.
Yeah.
And in these
Yeah.
past couple episodes, you know, Crosshair's completely turned into this different person.
Right.
And
Right.
completely different from whenever we first met him, even back in, you know, Clone Wars. And especially
Yeah.
season 1. And Tech as well is having these little moments inside episode. I don't think Tech ever really gets a Tech episode.
Right. But
Besides
it's just
the,
these moments. Yeah.
The racer episode that we got this
Yeah.
season. But yeah, he has a ton of these little moments where it's just Tech not being a robot, and it's really nice to see. And I'm glad that they did that with his character, and that they could do it in such a small scale way, but in a very loud way as well.
Yeah. Something I miss about Tech and the fact that like we can see his character is changing and stuff is when we first got introduced to him, he was constantly like recording sounds, right?
Yeah, he was always recording some sort of data, whether it was a sound or something. Yeah.
Yeah, which we don't really see him do much anymore. Which I think goes to what you were saying on he's more present on what's happening around him, not what he can get out of it or what data he can get out of it.
Well, he's living life instead of observing
Yeah.
life at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Tucker, did you have anything else for this episode?
Not really more than I said before. I mean, just I thought it was a nice, pretty chill episode. Like even the worst of it was that like town got flooded, but at the very end they were like, you know, hey, we'll rebuild it. No big deal. And also like I think it's really cool that finally the batch has a home and a place
Yeah.
to come back to.
Yeah, for sure.
I can just blast through my last couple of points. They're not anything crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Hunter's storm sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the next two are like little things of Star Wars that I love. Well, Star Wars animation is whenever they talk about the early warning system and then it flashes to the horn being blown and the leaves blowing off of the bushes because of the horn.
Yeah.
Love that little detail. And then whenever the sea surge is happening and the water recedes and the fish start flopping on the dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. And then Mr. Inta just having tea outside of his home while everybody is being evacuated. And a small part of me, I had this, what are those things called? Those thoughts? What do you
Like
call them?
Revelation?
Like an inkling? Or like you were like
No.
thinking, yeah, a hunch or
Theory.
No.
Brain fart.
What did I say? What word did I say again?
having tea and you thought that you
No,
What's this
did I
word
say
called?
idea?
no.
Maybe.
I said thought, right? I said
Yeah.
thought. Oh, intrusive thought.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I had an intrusive. The only thing I could think of was like, Elijah, you have a girlfriend, but Tuck, you're married too. Like sometimes my wife just randomly bites me,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" And she's like, "Sorry, I had an intrusive thought."
Yeah, it happens. They choose violence sometimes, man.
Yeah, so while
really
Mr.
do.
Inkta was having tea, I had this intrusive thought that I was like, what if he just died? Like, what if he just got swept away and died? And I was like, whoa, that was kind of dark, man.
And then while Wrecker picks him up, he's like, where are we going? Like, I had the same thing. I was like, oh, yeah, he's got Alzheimer's or dementia for sure. And
Yeah.
I was just like, that was my immediate, like, why did I go there? It's just like either
Yeah, but
dead
for some
or
reason
has
my brain was
Alzheimer's.
just
I
like,
don't know. Yeah.
kill the old man for comedy relief. And then I'm like, wait, that wouldn't be funny to everyone, just you.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie, man. It's a little funny to me. You'd have at
Yeah,
least someone here with you.
it's a little funny to
Thanks,
me
guys.
too.
Thanks, guys. And then my
We're
last
all
one.
awful.
I don't think I've ever said this before on the show, or for a Bad Batch at least. I love the Marauders afterburners.
Oh yeah.
Like, they're not like the normal afterburners that we see in Star Wars. They're, a conical shape like that you see on a jet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Even though that's not how the Marauders engines are shaped. They're like rectangles with curved ends,
Yeah.
but they release a conical jet stream whenever they have their afterburners on. But
Yeah.
I just really love the way their afterburners look. That was it.
It's because they zoom fast, and that makes flame cone
Zoom
shape.
zoom ship go fast.
Zoom ship go fast.
Is that
For
it
real.
for you guys?
I think so. It was a good episode. I really liked it, but I also just didn't have a lot to say about it.
Like I said, I took notes this time, so I can guide us with all my little things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Next we
go
got
for it.
episode 14, Tipping Point. What do you got?
Hauser. That's
Yeah.
literally my first
Hauser.
note. Is just Hauser
Same,
with
dude.
an exclamation mark. The return of our boy Hauser. We didn't know what happened to him. Honestly, I kind of forgot him about this point. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I had to wait until they said Hauser in the episode to be like, oh yeah, that's Hauser.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
like in other Bad Batch episodes, like I was pretty certain that Hauser was dead. To be honest with you, like I really
Oh
didn't.
yeah.
I really thought he was gonna get caught and killed. I mean, because he got arrested while like standing against his own men and the Empire. Like I was just like,
Oh no,
he's dead.
Tuck.
He's dead.
There are grand plans for these clones.
Oh, I know. I love that. I love that he lived. Like despite all odds that I would have given him. Good for him.
So something that makes me really sad is we see that Rex is like building up all these like groups of clones, right? Like there's clearly a big number of them and they're constantly growing. But in Rebels, we only get 3 of them.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're like that. Really, like Rex isn't necessarily building an army more than like he's building a network, and then also like
Yeah.
even helping some clones rehome themselves. Like even helping
Yeah.
some of them find peaceful lives. Like I don't think all the clones he saves necessarily are choosing to join the rebellion.
I'm just worried that we're going to get a scene of like all
clone
these guys
massacre?
getting slaughtered. Yeah.
Well, actually,
mean,
I can
come on,
I can
Elijah.
tell you. Oh,
This is like watching episode 3 and thinking Anakin's not gonna turn. Grow up.
yeah. Like in all honesty, I mean, like that is what happens in like the expanded universe. I mean, there is
Yeah.
like basically a great clone war where they do stand up to the Empire, and yeah, I mean the Empire just slaughters them all basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have theories that we can talk about later.
Yes, let's continue on with the episode.
And so, yeah, seeing Hauser, even though he's being imprisoned. And then next we get to see Echo and Gregor.
Heck yeah.
I love Gregor. He's a goof. And so they board this prisoner ship that Hauser's on. And again, pointing out, they use non-lethal fire once they board.
Yeah.
Yep, they do. Oh, actually, real quick note about the squad that they're with. Did y'all notice that 2 of the guys are wearing the armor from
The camo
Yoda's
armor.
unit? From Yoda's unit on Kashyyyk.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Which is like, you know, you just don't think about. Some of them may not have turned. Like it's possible that not all of them got their heads chopped off by a little green guy.
Just most
Yeah,
of them.
they definitely weren't those 2 guys. We know that for sure.
It was not what's his name, Commander Gree. I think, and then his little buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't them.
Yep.
Yeah, so they start trying to get Hauser off. And, well, that sounded... Maybe I should have reworded that. They're trying to liberate Hauser and his two companions.
I like get Hauser off more, personally.
Even I think you're thinking of the fan fiction version of this episode.
Elijah, go ahead and just put the explicit tag on.
Okay, I will.
No, that one at least, like, not every kid's gonna understand that. We're probably good.
If there are children listening to this podcast, we're in trouble.
No, we were good if we would have not acknowledged it.
Yeah.
But we did.
It was an accident. It was an accident.
Explicit
yes.
tag on.
Put it on. We're safe. They can't get us. No, but they board. They're freeing the guys, and the Imperial that's in charge on board. He orders them to start destroying the ship's logs, all that sort of thing, because they're covert prisoner transport. And our crew our good guys work their way to the piloting area, the cockpit, there we go, to get Hauser off. And I don't know what it is about it, but I love the electric cyanide pill.
Yeah, I do too. Honestly.
It is my favorite thing.
Yeah, from a cynical thing, I think it's interesting.
It's a lot more like visually pleasing than like a normal cyanide pill.
Yeah. Well, honestly too, like, you watch enough like James Bond and like 60s era like World War II movies and spy movies and stuff. Like, you just see that all the time. Like, the guy bites it, he foams on the mouth, and then he shakes and dies. You know, like, the electricity pill is just another take on that, and I like it.
Well, it also connects the dots between the Senator Chuchi episode, where they capture that clone assassin, and he bites the electric cyanide pill.
Yeah.
And now with this episode, eventually with this batch of episodes, we know that that's connected to the Advanced Science Division, and that's who that clone worked for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a connect the dot point.
Yes, for sure.
Just to sum up that scene, they retrieved some data that they were trying to get out, obviously to keep the Mount Tantus base a secret. Mm-hmm. And next we get Prisoner Crosshair.
My boy. Okay. So I very clearly, as we started recording this, I guess we'll say the Bad Batch series, I hated Crosshair. I liked him as a character, but he just made me so mad. And specifically, like, yes, what he went through in the first season, but specifically everything we've seen of him this season, he has become my favorite character.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really means something, because honestly, Elijah, like, you're oftentimes the bad guy bad, and I don't like him because bad guy bad kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. He's had a really good arc, and I've said this before. His episodes have been my favorite. Like, they're just so much more compelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, keep going with what happened.
Prisoner Crosshair. And then I just titled my next note, The Doctor's Deal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The Doctor's Deal.
Doctor not to be named yet. We get his name here in a bit. He makes Crosshair a deal that if he reveals the location of the Bad Batch, he'll set him free, basically. And Crosshair's like, nope, can't do it. Don't know. Can't tell you. And he's like, yeah, but you know how they think you're one of them. Like, you can help me out. Just help me out this one time, and you'll roam free on a farm with Plo Koon. And
exactly.
Crosshair says no. And then we get to see one of my favorite droids in Star Wars, the old interrogation droid.
Yeah.
If you guys have nothing to, do you guys have anything on that scene?
No, I mean, I may want to talk a little bit about his escape later, but, I don't think I've got anything till there.
Yeah,
All right,
I mean,
I'll move us along.
Yeah, and actually mine, I'll bring it up later.
Okay.
Yeah.
We get the space view, then we return to Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
For a brief moment, we see Senator Chuchi. She is now obviously helping the clones in the clone network.
Right. Mm-hmm.
A
little
they talk for a bit.
rebellion.
And Echo says, I know a guy that can figure out what's on this data spike.
I
Which is
wonder
obviously
who
tech.
that could be.
And then now we are to the Crosshair prison escape, which it starts with Dr. Scalder talking, who's the female scientist that we see there. She wears the little glasses things. And I just want to point out here for a sec that Dr. Scalder has a very interesting accent.
Yes, she does. And a very interesting complexion and hair color and eye color.
Yes.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Yep.
And then Crosshair manages to shoot both of the guards and get her key card.
Yep.
Because he's cool like that.
Also, it is interesting that he stunned her instead of shooting her as well.
That is an interesting point, especially for Crosshair.
Yep.
Yeah, because
I just titled that note "Run Crosshair Run."
Yep, that's right.
Huh.
Then another just little side note that I had was TK armor is trash. He literally blasts all of them one time, and they all go down in one shot.
And also, I'm just gonna say it. I don't really like TK armor. I think it looks kind of.
I don't either.
I'll be real with you.
I don't think we're
armors.
supposed to though.
Yeah.
I think it's just a transition piece.
Yeah.
To let us know what's coming. And also on the same kind of note as TK armor is trash. The blasters that these TKs carry are slowly morphing into E11s.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because you get a really good shot of him whenever Crosshair places it on that control panel. And it's starting to look less like the DC guns that our clones use. They're also not ion-based anymore.
Yep.
Because we're not fighting droids in this part of the galaxy, so we don't have blue blaster bolts anymore.
Right.
And, so Crosshair sends out a message, Plan 88. Sorry, I had to read, because my next note is, I love Star Wars fish, and I had to think about what happened.
Yeah, so, and this is where we see they use the gas on him that knocks him out, and the point I wanted to make was that the doctor, he built up an immunity to this gas so he could just walk through it.
Yep.
People gassing people. I wonder what this is in reference to.
I wonder.
Yeah, well, and then also, just imagine the vanity. Just designing your own gas and, building an immunity just for just knowing the purpose of, I'm going to gas some dude one day, and I'm going to be able to walk in that room, and I'm going to look so cool. That's
he's been thinking about this for years.
That's the most vain thing I've ever heard, man.
He's been begging for someone to try and escape.
Oh, I know.
I mean, it's obviously some form of Dioxis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is.
But it looks more like mustard gas.
Mm-hmm. It was cool, I will admit.
Oh, yeah, total G move.
Mm-hmm.
I know why I said I love Star Wars fish, because the next scene is we're back on Pabu, and Wrecker brings up this fish. And I like great big Star Wars fish. I like Wrecker's fish here. I like the fish that we see in the movie that Elijah hates and I love of the sequel trilogy.
The Last Jedi?
Yeah, whenever Luke brings up that giant fish.
Oh, that is true. Man's
I
gotta
like that
eat.
fish too. I just like Star Wars fish, whether they're animated or a prop in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we finally get Omega piloting the Marauder.
Yeah. And I like that she's like every typical child trying to go as fast as she can.
Yep. Well, and then I love to, Tech teaches her the tech turn. And and she calls it that, and he'd like never thought about that before, and he's like, no, it's this turn. He's like, wait, no, I like that. Let's call it.
He's
that.
like, that's not what the maneuver is called, but I like that.
I love it.
Which again I think is just a little moment showing his humanity.
Indeed.
Well, do we have anything else before Echo shows up?
No. Echo shows up.
Yeah. They start talking through comms, and I just love how excited Omega gets.
Yeah, that he's
It
coming.
is nice to see.
Yeah, and that they race back. I love Tech's like, no, this isn't a good idea.
And then Omega's just like, well, that's too bad. Well,
Does it anyway? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm driving, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so they get there. Echo gives him the data spike, and then we flash back, and we see our old friend Tarkin on the HoloNet.
That son of a gun.
I don't remember what they talk about, but Tarkin talks to the Doctor.
I think, if I remember correctly, it's in terms of the
It's
clone
about the
attack
clones.
at the very beginning, and they're discussing Mount Tantus and like, hey, if they found out where this place is, that's not going to be good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
oh,
that's all for the Tarkin stuff for me.
Oh, one quick little line he says at the end. It's like the scientist says, like, I've also been making like great strides in like this cloning stuff that I'm working on and whatnot. And then Tarkin says, I will expect to hear what you have to say at the summit. And then that brings to question, what is the summit?
What is the summit, eh?
What things will happen?
And then we flash back to Pabu, and Hunter and Echo are having a conversation. And one interesting thing is, like, Hunter kind of questions Echo's mission that he's on with Rex. He's like, sure, you can save as many clones as you want to, but, like, you know what we're up against. Like, why don't we just try to find these places like Pabu and live a life? And Hunter's kind of realizing that he doesn't really want to be a soldier anymore. He just wants to be Omega's dad.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad, but sweet as well.
Right.
I don't know. It just kind of made me hurt.
Yeah.
And then we get the information on the data spike, and the doctor that we've seen for quite a while now is named Dr. Hemlock. And the batch here kind of questions. They get the message that Crosshair sent on the old channels, and it's Plan 88. And they kind of question, like, is this just another trick? And
right.
It's kind of important to point out, but Tech's like, I don't think it is.
Yep.
And it's just cool to see Crosshair helping out from prison, and then Crosshair getting tortured again at the end of the episode.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to talk about on the first time he gets tortured, is in light of this second one. Guys, I don't think Crosshair's going to make it next season. I really my theory right now is I really think that they're going to mind flay him, is my opinion. And he's just going to be crushed, and it's just going to kill him, I think.
Yeah. I think the only one that has a chance of making it out is Omega.
And therefore maybe Hunter. Like maybe
Hunter.
Maybe we get a
and
nice scene at the end with like Hunter and Omega settling down in Pabu and like finally living.
I
think they're all gonna die.
They might. They really might.
I think they're gonna
Wrecker,
Rogue One them.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna Rogue One them.
Yeah, but I guess my point is, like, I don't think Wrecker's going to make it to next season. I mean, not Wrecker. I'm sorry, Crosshair. I don't think Crosshair's really going to make it even to next season.
Oh, they're gonna like find him and realize it's too late. He's been dead this whole time.
Yeah,
I've got theories, boy. I've got theories, boys. We just have to get there.
let's keep going. We're 50 minutes in.
Yeah,
It's
I guess
all right.
we
We're
do.
having fun. We're having fun.
I guess we do kind of need to kick it into hurry up offense a little bit, but we'll be
No,
on
just-
that.
No, we've got
just a little bit.
time. We've got time, boys. We've got time. Episode 15, The Summit. Now we can finally answer the question of where I got Ariadu from. From
Yes.
last batch of episodes, whenever I was like, I think Mount Tentus is on Ariadu. No, it's because I had just watched these episodes that week.
Right.
But
Who's
yeah, so
from
here on
Ariadu?
Ariadu, my note is Ariadu, the home of Tarkin.
That's right, yeah.
Yes.
And-
It's nice to see. Now,
It's a beautiful
I'm
place.
so sorry.
It's okay,
We don't
buddy.
have to go on a long tangent. Is this like where he was born and raised, or just where he's
Yeah.
currently living?
Both.
Both.
That's
okay,
his,
cool.
Yep.
That's the boy's home, man. That's the crib.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
like it's also like his family's home planet. Like the Tarkins have lived there forever, basically.
It's kind of like
cool.
Count Dooku with Sereno.
Gotcha,
Or Sereno.
gotcha.
Or however Count Dooku says it.
You're Sereno.
I don't have
Got
a good
him.
Count Dooku voice, so I can't even try.
Anyway,
But yeah, Ariadu. And then we get our crew, our Bad Batch. And an important thing to note here, which is why I brought it up over the review of the last episode, is Tech, like, heartily votes to get Crosshair.
yeah.
Which I think is very interesting. He's like, I forget his exact line, but he's like, regardless of what he's done in the past and the disagreements that we've had with him, we have to go get Crosshair. He's our brother.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
Wrecker's like, yeah, we have to go get our brother. I don't know why Wrecker suddenly
That
turned
was pretty
Italian.
solid, dude. Yeah, I mean, but
Until
still,
I turned Italian. It was
Yeah.
it was pretty good.
yeah, throw a little New Zealand in there, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Literally.
But yeah, he says that. And they all decide to go get Crosshair. And Hunter, sorry, I read my next note and I was like, why did I write this? But then I remembered. Hunter's like, okay, well, what kind of reinforcements do we have? Like, we're attacking this unknown base. Well, not really attacking, but extracting someone from
Yeah.
this unknown base. We don't know what kind of forces are there. We know that it's an important place because it's so secret. And Echo's like, well, Rex is away on another mission. And I wrote down, I was like, I need a Rex show. I'd really like enjoy a live action Rex show,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I also think that Tamara Morrison needs a break.
Yeah.
So, you know, just get D. Bradley Baker and make me a Rex show.
Yeah.
Not that
I agree.
animation is easier than live action, because voice actors work just as hard as live action actors.
Yeah, for sure. But it's different.
Yeah, and again, like I mean, like you said, I'm definitely gonna butcher his name, but like Tamar Morrison, that guy, the clone guy, he like he's getting up there, and I mean like we've been seeing him a lot in a lot of different Star Wars stuff, and so like I'm sure
Give me
I'm sure he
live-
does. I'm sure he does need a break.
Give me live action Bad Batch where he plays Omega.
So
Give me
quick
live
tangent.
action Bad Batch.
I saw a TikTok the other day where it was an interview that Tem did, and he was like, I saw these comments about people making fun of me in Mandalorian when I first showed up, saying I was Boba Fett. I didn't like that. So I went and I got ripped. I hit the gym. I did curls. I started eating. I was on a diet. You know, because from when we see him in Mando to whenever we see him in Book of Boba Fett, like you can tell he's dropped some weight.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
pretty fit.
Yeah.
So like he was on stage doing some sort of panel. It was like some con. And that was basically the interview. He's like, I saw people calling me Boba Fett. I didn't like that. So I went to the
Boba
gym.
Fit now.
But to be fair though, I mean that dude like he first appeared in Star Wars like 20 some years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I mean he's getting a little up there, man. I'm sure
And,
it's
like-
not that easy to do that anymore.
And timeline wise, it has been, let's see, so 10, 30. I mean, it's been like 30 to 40 years since he was he was a kid in episode 2, but you know.
Oh,
I mean, this is an older man.
What are you talking
No,
about?
he played Django.
No, I know. I'm talking about
Oh,
sorry,
Boba
yes.
Fett in Star Wars. Yeah, I got you.
Yes, actual.
Okay.
It's been 20 years since he has acted, right, in episode 2, but it's been about 30 to 40 years in universe lore.
Yeah, Tuck and I were both
know,
like, Elijah, what are you talking about?
And
I was like,
he
dude,
was what?
he's
Like,
obviously Django too. Come on.
sorry, no,
Stop ruining the illusion for Elijah. Stop.
sorry. No, he was
Elijah, no, he's Boba Fett. Stop. It's okay. It's okay. He's
He was
Boba
a
Fett,
kid. He
buddy.
was a kid.
young
He was a
Boba
kid.
Fett was in his he was at least 10, maybe 11 or 12 at most. So that makes Boba Fett in the Boba Fett show and Mandalorian late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so
I got us
that
off
has to
track
be
there.
considered. No, that's okay. I should have described better what I was talking about.
I just couldn't get Tamar Morrison going, I saw people calling me Boba Fett. I didn't like that. So I went to the gym. I did curls.
And now I'm on a diet.
Okay, sorry. This episode, the summit.
Fee and Tech forever.
Fee and Tech forever. Yeah, totally. Nothing bad ever is going to happen between them. Ever.
Yeah. Well, and she says, like, come back to me safe, brown eyes. It's like, okay.
Yeah, so another little thought I had after they blast off to Mount Tantus is, what if Vader was at the summit? And we don't have to explore this. It was just a thought. You boys think about that on your own. I know we're trying to keep going here, but like, where's Vader in this universe? Because he's around.
We'll find out. I'm sure he'll show up in season 3, dude. I'm sure.
For sure.
He has to.
I still stand by he's gonna kill at least one member of the Bad Batch, if not more.
Maybe all of them.
Maybe.
Maybe he just goes Anakin Skywalker on Omega's ass.
Maybe he does, dude. Maybe he does.
Listen, I literally was thinking about last episode, and I was like, I cannot be the one to bring up him killing Omega. Mac will never let me see the end of it.
Don't worry, buddy. I got you. I'll kill the children.
Man, I can't believe I'm on a podcast with 2 kid killers. I can't believe it.
For legal reasons, we have never killed children.
You missed the pre-show conversation last week, Tuck, where Elijah was all into Order 66.
Sounds like our LL Cool J.
Don't worry, I have the recording of the conversation. I'll send it to you.
Oh, good. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm sure it happened. I just don't remember it at all.
Was it because you were slammed, Elijah?
Oh yeah, you know me. I'm constantly just drinking, putting back that alcohol.
Bro, he was smoking the devil's lettuce, and he was naked. He was recording the show naked.
I was
in
drunk.
nothing but a
I
Chewbacca
was
mask.
high.
Wow. And smoking that marijuanas. I can't believe it.
I was gambling in the background.
How far you have fallen, Elijah.
I know.
All right, boys. All right. And then somehow we're on Mount Tantus again. Oh, it's during the summit. They're having the summit. And they get to Tarkin finally turns the floor over to Dr. Hemlock. And one of the lines that he had just kind of struck me is he mentions his work and he says, eventually we'll be able to produce an enlightened society. And I'm like, yo, like, is he talking about like producing people? Like they're going to molecularly, genetically change like the society as a whole?
They're just gonna clone society, just kill all the actual people.
Or just like, through like food and drink, like change people's DNA.
That's
like we see in the last in Logan, how they got rid of all the mutants was through the corn thing. They put anti-mutant stuff in all the drinks and corn syrup and stuff, so there were no more mutants.
Yeah.
So that was just a thought I had. And the group continues talking. And an interesting point is that the Empire is afraid of a clone uprising. And I think Tuck said something about that in whenever we were talking about one of the earlier episodes this pod.
Yeah. In the EU, there is one.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
Yeah,
and I find that very interesting.
And like, there's a whole like war, basically. I mean, I guess you could call it a war. It's more of like skirmishes here and there. Like the clones like never like really get organized from what I've read. But, like, they do kind of, like, you know, storm the gates, and then, like, the Empire just slowly crushes all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we see our old friend, Commander Krennic, and Project Stardust. That's the other, like, big thing that I was like, hey, I know what happens there.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, too. I don't know. I love these little details because Rogue One and this series are not connected at all, but they're still in the same universe, and it's moments like that really like are really important to make it feel like it's in the same universe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni with I don't know if you guys are caught up on Mando, but like the seeds that they're planting within the shows that answer questions later, even now, are so good. And they're doing it with this show too. And I really think people need to be patient. I don't think as a fan base, or even just between us three, like we're ever gonna really like the sequels. But the stuff they're doing with these shows these days are not necessarily making them better, but justifying them.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
And that may not even be a good word, but I think the challenges that sequel presented and the answers that we're getting to those challenges have made Star Wars really great.
Yeah,
and I think that's
agree.
something that's awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
So as much as we don't like the sequels, these shows having to come up with answers for that have produced some of the greatest Star Wars that we've had in years.
Oh, yeah. Well, and really, I think we're getting a more complete series.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Back to the episode. What do you got next?
Not the mouse droid. Whenever Wrecker crunches the mouse droid after Omega plants the homing beacon on Dr. Hemlock's ship.
Yeah.
And then the return of Saw Gerrera, who is also there. I didn't see that coming. I don't know if you guys... that was completely out of the blue for me.
I actually had it spoiled, as I had many of the things of the series. So I knew he was coming, but this episode makes me hate Saw so much.
Yeah, I guess, like, I can't necessarily say I hate him, but it does show his, you know, his short-sightedness, and the fact that really he's just a vigilante. Like, he's not able to really get organized the way that later people
did.
Like Leia, like Bail Organa, like people like that actually are able to think 5 seconds ahead, whereas Saw's not.
It's not all in the moment. Like, if we blow this up, it'll hurt the Empire. Let's do it.
Yeah, he just wants to hurt the Empire right now. Like, he doesn't necessarily want to win or know how to want to win.
I've been very on the fence. Sorry, if I
go ahead.
Saw or not. Because I like his inclusion in Star Wars. To me, it's really cool that there is this other kind of rebel group that's a lot more radical, that isn't thinking ahead, that's just fight, kill, blow things up. But at the same time, it's frustrating to see a character like this, because it's like you are literally getting in the way of everything else that people are actually trying to do to help the galaxy.
For me, go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, sorry. No, just that this episode really solidified that for me, that like He does not care what other people are doing, and I don't like Saw, and that I'll leave it there.
For me, Saw is that string that ties back Star Wars to the Vietnam War, World War II. You know, movies like Inglourious Bastards, where you have this crew that just goes and hunts Nazis.
Yeah.
And, you know, doesn't take prisoners, just kills them.
Right.
Which, were the Nazis good? No. Should all Nazis die? I don't, you know, it's that thing that Star Wars, one of the things that Star Wars represents is that all people that are on the opposite side aren't necessarily evil. They just bought into a different ideal.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe,
at the end
I
of the
guess,
day, that's...
Oh, go ahead.
No, I think your idea is probably way better than mine, so continue.
Oh, I was just saying, like, as far as, like, kind of clearing up some, like, it's kind of like the difference between, like, the actual Nazis in World War II and, like, the Germans. Like, just because someone was German did not mean they were a Nazi. Just because, like, someone was part of the German army, like the Wehrmacht, that did not mean that they had those political ideals. Or, you know, even some of them, I mean, this is a whole different thing, but, like, not all of them knew exactly what was going on. Yeah. For instance.
They were just soldiers following orders.
Well, and some didn't even do anything bad. Some didn't even do anything bad, yeah.
It's our Finn in the sequel trilogy. He's on the opposite side, not by choice, necessarily. I mean, we don't know Finn's story because J.J. Abrams sucks and didn't give us his story. Yeah, that was a little harsh. I'm being a little harsh today.
No, listen, I'm with you there.
But I mean, it's our Finn. You know, he's just the other side of the coin.
Yeah. Anyway, just to be clear,
I can take us along.
Nazis
if you guys
evil.
would like.
Yeah, Nazis are evil. We hate Nazis, but we don't necessarily hate Germans from the 1940s.
Late 1930s, 1940s.
There were some of them that were not bad people. Yeah,
exactly.
We hate Nazis. We don't kill kids. Elijah supports force choking women. There we go. I've summed it all up for us. We're good.
Anyway,
moving on.
Next Bad Batch point.
Tarkin telling the other delegates of the summit crew that they're perfectly safe, and then everything goes into lockdown. Love that part. The next note I have is Tarkin's face after the explosion, when they're all just kind of sitting there in darkness, and Tarkin gets this look on him where it's kind of like an oh no look, but he's also has that just classic Tarkin face, which is so amazing with animation that they can get down the actual character, the live action character's face of like, it's just this face that he had in live action, and they just nailed it.
Yeah.
Where it's like this combination of upset and angry, but also a little bit of, oh crap, we might not be safe.
Yeah. Yeah, that look that he has too, like, to me it is kind of like that fear of like something's gonna happen, but also too you can see like an assurance behind his eyes that it's like, you know what, if I do live, I will get them. Like it's like he's very certain that, like, you know, if I do live, I'll kill them all. Like that's just like kind of, and I think that's how Tarkin works. Like he's just, it's like a, where else do we see that look? Like in Clone Wars, whenever they're on that lava planet, you know, and things are going really, really, really wrong. Mac, you know what I'm talking about?
Can I get a little bit more here?
Oh, where they're with Anakin's there. And,
that narrows it down. No. With the one of the members of the Jedi Council, the little guy with the side pointy ears.
Yes.
And Tarkin's there.
Yeah, and things like, I mean, like, I want to say like the platform like blows up or something, like that they're standing on, and so they start falling or whatever.
Yes,
and, like,
it's the episode where they're breaking him out of the impossible prison.
Yeah, and Tarkin, like, for a second,
you almost had me there for a tuck.
Yeah.
You almost had me for a second there, but my Clone Wars knowledge reigns through.
I was like, Mac knows what I'm talking about. He's got to know what I'm talking about. But
I do. I remember
yeah,
distinctly.
So, like, I mean, I guess, like, what I'm saying is, like, I think there's a couple moments in that episode where if you were to go and watch it, you can see that same face that Tarkin's making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next?
We end with the batch stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The train gets stuck.
Indeed it does. And that's the last thing I have for episode 15.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on if you guys are.
All right, boys. Episode 16, Plan 99. First of all, Plan 99, that's just sad. You know something's bad is happening whenever it's called Plan 99.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and also, like, I'm just
Shout
going
out
to
to
say,
Clone
man.
Wars.
Yeah. But I'm just going to say, like, this episode, I genuinely cried. I really did. Like, this really made me so sad.
I probably would have cried, but I had it spoiled. Like, the two big things from this episode I had spoiled.
Yeah, like, the
Yeah.
whole time I was just like, no,
Yeah.
don't do, no. Like, that was what I was literally yelling at my TV.
Yeah, so quick thing right here. The Plan 99 thing made me think about it. Clone Wars, of course. But so my uncle texted my mom the other day, and he was like, hey, I listened to your son's podcast that he does with his friends. I started watching
Let's
Clone
go!
Wars.
That's
Shout out to your
awesome,
uncle.
dude. That's awesome.
So shout out to my uncle. So we also figured out, whenever we looked at our analytics, my uncle's the one that went back and listened to all of our old podcasts.
Dude, that's
Hell
dope,
yeah.
honestly.
What
Yeah.
a man.
Well, and he and my brother actually has started listening as well.
So shout out to my uncle and one of Tuck's like 60 brothers.
Yeah. For real.
Yep.
Yeah,
We're going to have
Plan 99.
62 followers here soon.
Yeah,
Just think about
Hell
that.
yeah. So my first note for this last episode of the season is pinned down without a prayer.
That's a good note. I like that one.
You know, I should be a writer. I've just got some great quips
Quippy.
and the occasional deep thought. So yeah, the Bad Batch are pinned down on this rail system that they snuck into Mount Tantisan. And Tarkin orders an airstrike on them. And
Yeah, just
the guy's like, but sir, our own forces are also caught on that line. And he's like, don't care, shoot them down.
That's a Tarkin move right there. That's a Tarkin
Dude,
move.
it is. Total Tarkin move. Which he did that in the Clone Wars too.
Yep.
He was
Yeah,
like,
'cause
don't
he's-
care, just bodies, kill them all.
the worst.
What a poo-poo head pee-pee pants, man.
For
That's
real,
all I have
for
to
real.
say. Yep.
Death to Tarkin. And the children.
That I'm leaving in. That's staying in the podcast. Yes, sorry. We were talking a minute ago about our analytics and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll log in and see how we're doing. Most of our episodes do have multiple listens now.
Noise.
That sounds really bad. We lost all our analytics, long story short. So we essentially had to start over. And since we've started over, everything has multiple listens now.
Thanks,
I
everybody.
like it.
Yeah, we really do appreciate you guys.
Yeah, so back to the show. Hunter shoots down a ship with a blaster.
Hell yeah.
Which
What a
I have
man.
to say, the Clone Wars clone blaster, which Elijah, fact check me. Is it a
Oh, yeah,
DC-17? Is that the blaster that the clone commanders carry? Well, most of the clones carry them, but I think it's a DC-17. I think that's my favorite blaster. I just love that little thing.
Yeah, keep talking while I'm looking it up.
My next big point is and I love it whenever Star Wars does this, is the quietness whenever Tech says Plan 99. Like everything just goes dead silent. Like they're being attacked by airships and there are multiple shots, but as soon as Tech makes the decision, because the rail car that they're in is being shot, it's being pulled off the track. Wrecker can't get to him because any weight that goes on the aft end of the monorail car will literally pull it off its track, and Tech's just hanging there by a line, and it just gets really quiet. And Tech's like, don't come any further. And then he says, Plan 99. And everything just goes quiet, like deathly quiet. It's just the characters talking to each other.
Yep. Which actually, do you mind if I interject right here?
You can, of course, interject.
Finish it off. The swan song here. And then, like, after that, he says that, and Wrecker's like, no, like, are you sure? And then, like, Hunter from across the monorail car, like, we get the sound back, and he starts, like, he's shooting at the TK troopers and stuff, and he turns around and he goes, Wrecker, get Tech up here now, like it's an order.
Yeah.
And then Tech looks up at Wrecker, and he says, Wrecker, when did we ever follow orders? And then he shoots the little piece of metal that's holding the two cars together. And falls.
Yeah.
Our boy. Yep. That hits you, man. That hits you.
Yeah. It was masterfully done, and like the build up to it was good. It didn't just happen, and like they didn't just immediately like change to a different scene after. Like it really just sat there with what happened. Of course, like the cart starts moving because the rest of the batch is in is fine, but it just I don't know. I really liked the amount of breathing room that Dave Filoni and his team gave before and after it actually happens.
Well, I mean, with the only thing that was like audible during that scene was the blaster fire and the voices. And then as soon as Tech falls, we get and the monorail goes because they're able to get it active and online. And there's not enough weight on the monorail anymore. We get this really big flourish of music. And it's just awesome. It's just classic Star Wars.
Yeah, it really is.
And then, do you guys have anything else on Tech's death?
It's sad.
I will say, before it gets confirmed later in the episode, and we'll bring this up in a second, but I was really thinking to myself, like, you know what? Like, maybe he had another harpoon. Like, maybe somehow he lived.
I have a theory, so we can talk about it.
You guys might hate me, but I kind of hope he dies.
Well, it gets confirmed for us this episode, I really think.
I have theories.
We can talk about that more, because I have some theories on that as well, but I don't know. With Star Wars, we're constantly seeing people falling from a really high thing, and we think they die, and then they come back later. And
yeah. And also, even including at the end of this episode, we do watch all of the other batch members fall basically the same fall and live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we do see that.
I don't know. It was so masterfully done, and it was so impactful. I want it to mean something and not just be like, oh yeah, no, he's fine.
We'll get to that whenever I talk about my theory at the end of the episode.
Cool. Well, let's move forward.
Yeah, so they can't get the monorail to stop. They get in this big crash. Next thing we get, first-person Star Wars, which Elijah and I talked about this.
Me and Elijah talked about it too. And
yeah, I think we were all together. This one of the Cad
yeah.
Bane episodes. We were all together on those, right?
Yeah.
Whenever we got first-person Star Wars.
Freaking sweet.
First-person Star Wars is the best Star Wars. Changed my mind. And it's from Omega's point of view. And they're carrying her to the Marauder. Next thing we know, she wakes up and we get AZ again. Old AZ.
Yep. Good old AZ. I get it. I'm really torn. I think, like, why wasn't AZ just, like, with them all the time? Like, just, like, on the ship. It doesn't mean he had to be a part of the episodes regularly, but I don't see why they left him with Sid.
because of the direction that the rest of the season was going with, I think AZ is too much of a upbeat character.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just hate that they had to go back to Sid.
Yeah. And the line that gets me is Omega's waking up and she's obviously in a daze, and she says, I remember being on the monorail, and then, now we're here, and she goes, where's Tech? And Hunter's just like, he didn't make it. Like, he sacrificed for us, and we're going to make the most of it.
Yeah.
And at the end of their little conversation, Hunter tells her, he's like, that mission was it. Like, this is the end of being soldiers. We're going to go back to Pabu, and we're just going to live our life. Like, if that's what you want. And she's like, yeah, let's just go have a normal life and be a family.
Yeah.
And another shot that we get before kind of everything just kind of goes to crap is Echo is in the Marauder by himself, and he's just being quiet, and he just looks over at the co-pilot seat where Tech always sat.
Yeah. And I think something we need to point out is they didn't just lose Tech. They failed in their mission to save Crosshair. So I think that's, yes, they're sad about Tech, but I think that's weighing on them as well.
Yeah, the whole mission was a failure.
Yeah. It couldn't have gone worse.
And then my next note here is Sid the Sellout.
Yeah, and this is also, I guess, like what I was getting to. Just real quick, I'll just say what I want to say about Tech's death.
Oh, yeah.
This is like this part right here that we're about to talk about. This is like where I think it's confirmed that Tech is dead. And I'm just going to say this just because Hemlock walks in with Tech's goggles that are broken. And then he throws it at Hunter and he says, like, sorry, this is all I could salvage. And that's it.
Yeah.
And so I think I think like based on how they're broken and stuff, that doesn't look good, man. That doesn't look good.
I don't think Tech's dead, man.
We will find out.
I don't think Tech is dead, bro.
Why?
Well, we have to get to the end of the episode, and then I will reveal why.
Okay, I mean the end's gonna be in like 5 seconds, so go ahead.
I wanted to talk about this scene as well, because he could have just been hurt in the fall, and I mean Hemlock could have just captured him and taken the goggles. Like maybe he was too hurt to move and get to safety. Which I'm with you, Tuck. I hope Tech's dead, but
I hope he's dead, dude.
Yeah. Well,
you hope Tuck is dead?
That's not nice.
For the impact that the scene had, I think that'll kind of yeah. I think there's a chance that he is alive and that Hemlock just took the glasses from him as a way to manipulate and hurt the rest of the batch.
Interesting.
Maybe, but also either way, we aren't going to know till next season.
We're not. So
or some other series.
They try to look for Omega. They want Omega. Hunter's not going to give him Omega. They take the Bad Batch as prisoner. They're walking out, and Omega tries to save him. Dr. Hemlock tries to make a deal with him. He tells him, you come with me, I'll let your friends go. Just want you. None of these guys matter to me. And we also get the beginning evolution of walkers. ATST. Chicken walkers is referred to most of the fandom.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was just a little note I had. And then I have to know, is this Scorch or not? I need an answer.
I'm pretty sure it's Scorch.
I think
Actually,
it is.
It could have been photoshopped. You guys keep talking. I'm pretty sure he's listed as Scorch in the credits.
Yeah, so I need to know if it's Scorch or not. They capture Omega. They take her back to Mount Tantus. And Dr. Hemlock is having a conversation with Nalase. And he's like, basically you tell me the secrets to cloning or Omega's gonna suffer the consequences. And that's a direct quote.
Yep. And that's also basically where it ends, too. Oh, actually, no, it's not quite.
There's a little bit more.
It's where it ends for Omega, anyway. It's the last time we see her this season. It's like, ooh.
No, we get a little bit more of Omega. Good. So
do we?
That's the last conversation that Dr. Hemlock and Nalase have. Then it cuts to Omega going inside of Mount Tantus. She's inside of this room.
Oh, yes, sorry.
There are many clones that are on tables, like chained up or restrained. That sounds better. That are restrained in this room. It's very reminiscent of Kaminoan cloning facilities. We see all these bodies in tubes. We don't know if they're clones. We can only guess that they are based on the structures, the body structures that we see inside of these tubes and all the clone bodies around them. Omega sees Crosshair. She runs over to him. Dr. Scalder comes to Omega and she's kind of like, just help me out and I'll help you out. And she's like, Omega's like, no, I want to talk to Nalase. And Dr. Scalder's like, interesting. You trust Nalase, but not me. And Omega's like, what are you talking about?
Oh, wait. Before you finish that, did y'all notice that before Dr. Scalder walks in, that another woman who looked just like her, just with a different haircut, was walking Omega in and then walked out, and then Dr. Scalder comes in?
I thought that was Dr. Scalder the whole time.
Nope, no, it's two people.
I must have missed it.
No,
I was
I
also
didn't
making
notice that.
a pizza crust at this time. So
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, sorry, but go ahead and finish it. I just wanted to point that out because it really brings the weight of what you're about to say to fruition. So go ahead.
No, thank you, Tuck. That's a very important point that I obviously missed while making a pizza. Yes, so Dr. Scalder's like, interesting, you trust the Kaminoan, but not me. And Omega's like, what do you... Tucker, do your Omega voice and say, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? About's hard. I don't know.
Okay, Harry Potter. Anyways.
All right. Wait, I'm sorry. I've done an Omega impression. Tuck's done an Omega impression.
He did earlier. Mac did earlier, like 5 seconds ago. Yeah. You're right
Sorry.
on the phone, though, Mr. Rude.
I was doing research.
I only do like one words. I only do like tick and
Tick.
Rika.
Rika.
Besides that, I'm trash at Omega. Omega is like one of the impressions. I can't do a little girl New Zealand voice. I'm sorry. If you want more Tamara Morrison, I can do that. But
Anyway.
no. Small
going
girl
on.
New Zealand. And we get the... this is my note, is Dr. Scalder delivers the no, I am your father
Yeah.
to Omega. We find out that Dr. Scalder is the sister of Omega.
Yep.
Which
Which
is
also-
why, obviously, early in the show, I pointed out Dr. Scalder's accent. So if you made it this far, congratulations.
And why I
Welcome
pointed
to
out
your
her
payoff.
hair and skin tone and eye color as well.
Yeah.
And Elijah, sorry, but I don't know if you guys noticed. I'm cutting you off for a reason. This is the first time I've noticed Dr. Scalder's accent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
same.
it's been kind of
Accentuated a little bit.
yeah, it felt a lot stronger in that last line than it did anywhere else.
Well, just this episode, was she in 15 as well? I can't remember. But either way,
I think for a minute, yeah.
during this finale season, because both episodes dropped at the same time, her accent got really strong. It just
Yeah.
felt like that.
But
to
also,
me.
I think that was one of those things where they were trying to make that point before making
Yeah.
I think the whole thing was like they were trying to create this where you start thinking it, because I started thinking it before she actually revealed that.
Yeah.
Especially whenever I saw two Dr. Scalders walk in, I was like, wait a second, like New Zealand accent, darker skin tone, darker eyes, darker hair.
Yeah.
I watched this
That's
episode
looking
like a
an
week
awful lot
ago,
clone.
and I still haven't seen the double Dr. Scalder, so
Oh, watch
good
it
job,
again, dog.
Tuck.
Watch it again. Yeah.
Good
Wait,
job,
I thought you
Tuck.
watched these episodes today.
I did, but during the last episode, so we agreed on our set time, but I also had to prepare dinner, so I was making my pizza crust and making the dough.
Yeah.
So while I was watching the last half of the episode, I'm over there with my mixing bowl, pouring in my flour and my water and my yeast, trying to make pizza dough and trying to type on my phone at the same time.
Hell yeah. Well, do you guys have anything else on this reveal before I move on? 'Cause I'm going to change the subject.
Just my theory for Tech.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So I do not think Tech is dead. With everything that Dr. Hemlock has been talking about, especially these last 2 episodes, and the cloning room that we see here in the very last few seconds of the episode, I think we're going to see a brainwashed clone army.
I do too.
I think we're going to see a brainwashed Crosshair and a brainwashed Tech.
And so maybe that's where our theories could come together whenever I said I really think that Crosshair's going to get mind flayed. Like, do you think they're going to basically just mind flay all those dudes and, like, just make them into their own thing? Also, too, with the random assassin guy.
I love when Tech gets excited.
Maybe that's what happened to him. Maybe he got mind flayed. And maybe that's why he didn't have an identification number, didn't, like, really know who he was.
He was a clone of a clone, Tuck. He was a clone of a clone.
Maybe he was. And also, maybe that's where it's going. Maybe they won't be, like, themselves anymore. Maybe they'll take Crosshair's DNA and Tech's DNA and clone those clones. I don't know. Man. It's going to be crazy.
Off it, with everything you guys are saying, are we just going to get a larger scale version of what Krell made the clones do? Like, they've got a brainwashed clone army, and they send them to go fight the clones that Rex is building.
Maybe. Dude, let's get
they're just like, yeah, let them just kill each other.
Let's get the red yarn and the tinfoil hats out, man.
How dare you bring up Pong Krell? You dirty, dirty sir.
I mean, am I wrong, though?
Take off your fedora and fight me in samurai combat right now.
Yes.
Oh, like that's not dorky, too.
Okay, so, boys. First thing. DC-17, that's what the blasters are called. And then...
Wait, I was right? Mm-hmm. The pistols are called DC-17s? Mm-hmm. Get wrecked, nerds! I'm the best!
And this is directly from Season 2, Episode 11, Metamorphosis. I'm on the credits right now, so we've got D. Bradley Baker, Clone Troopers / Scorch.
Oh, so it's Scorch.
Him, baby.
It is Scorch.
No!
That is cool.
No!
That is cool, but very sad. But maybe he can be saved. Maybe he can. Who knows?
No, he's part of the brainwashed crew.
Actually, yeah, probably.
Yeah, he's
if they are brainwashing them, the Republic Commandos were probably the first to be brainwashed.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, that's probably why they wanted the Bad Batch so bad in the beginning.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Well, great, we did it. That's the Bad Batch, everybody. We'll see you whenever Season 3 comes out. I'm just kidding.
I think we'll probably
have
see
other
it
things to say. Yeah, that's just a joke.
Yeah.
Little jokey joke.
Just goobing around.
Well, any last thoughts about the series?
You know, as much as I hated sticking to one thing, I'm glad we did it. It was fun.
Me too.
You know, there are these little moments in the show with you guys. Like, I think back to, you know, like the first episode that we had that kind of blew up and we had like 50 listens. And that was a big deal for you and I. And it's still a big deal. And then I think about whenever we finally brought Tuck on and he was in a point in life where he could do this thing with us. And I have a creepy little gremlin creeping in the room. Can you preheat the oven to 425? Thanks, buddy. In weird moments like that, where I finally own a house and my wife lives here and she interrupts me during podcasts.
Yeah.
Keep all this in. Keep all this in, Elijah. You know, it's these little moments that we finally achieved. And, you know, I've complained about Bad Batch so much, but it's been fun, man. And I'm glad we did a series. And I guess this is a good moment to tell the listeners, hey, guys, I'm not going to be here for the next month. So, you know, if you just hear Tuck and Elijah on the show, it's not that I forgot about you or that I ran away. I'll be back probably in a couple episodes. But, these guys got the sticks. They're
Hell
behind
yeah.
the Falcon. They can pilot it without me. I'll come back when I can. And it's just been a good journey, you guys. We've had fun. I don't know why I've gotten so sentimental.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you
Don't
sound
worry.
like you're saying goodbye, dog.
Yeah,
you
like
better
this
stop.
is gonna be
You
your
better
last
stop,
episode. You're coming back.
I'm coming. It's just we've never done this on the show before, where we actually stuck with the series. I mean, we've done it with the movies and everything, but I mean, this
we
is
had
honestly.
so many...
This is the first time since Elijah and I started the show that we've stuck with the series that isn't the main films, and I'm really glad that we did it, besides all my complaints. If the listeners could only see our group chat and me trying to get out of Bad Batch as many times as I could, they would appreciate this episode.
We'll definitely do it again. But also, I look forward to... I'm not going to tell y'all what we are going to do just because I want it to be a surprise, but I am looking forward to some one-off episodes as well.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It'll be
for
good.
Sure. I think my very last thought I have on the Bad Batch is watching season 1 through 2. I really do enjoy the show, and I think I realized I think they're trying to keep it close to Clone Wars, where they have these random episodes that explore different parts of the galaxies, and I like it, but I don't think it needs to be Clone Wars. The Bad Batch is its own show, and episodes like these last two and the Crosshair episodes, and that's what worked the best, and I really hope they lean more into it in season 3, especially saying it's going to be the last one.
I hope season 3 is really short.
Yeah, just do 4 final episodes, maybe.
Dude, 8,
5,
do
6.
8, do 8.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Just 8 30-minute
Really
episodes.
good.
Just
Do 8,
get her done.
do
Story
8
focus.
bangers.
Yeah.
Do 8
Yeah.
bangers
Yeah, I agree.
and finish it. I mean, it's kind of like season 8 of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
kill it.
And
Just
also,
kill
too,
it. Just kill the deer.
It's kind of like what we were talking about with this show, like this podcast. It's
You're gonna kill the
easy to
podcast.
not stick. Yeah, it's easy to not stick to the schedule because you don't want to. But then when you do it, it's solid, man. It's solid.
Yeah.
It's solid every time.
For sure.
Elijah, do we have any listener questions?
Not this week, and I did check.
I mean, I could rum up my thoughts of Bad Batch.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any last
besides my
minute thoughts,
heartfelt
this is it.
spiel. No, it was fun. It was fun. I'm glad we did it. I could never do a Mando review with you guys because I would just go on for hours because those episodes are like 45 minutes.
Yeah, so I think for our listeners and for us, I think we'll do it like we did the first 2 chapters and just do it by chapter. And that way each episode is on each of our episodes is on just one episode of Mandalorian. So we have time to breathe and really expand on stuff.
Yeah, if 45-minute episode takes an hour and a half, who cares?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
Oh, Mando. Oh, I hope you guys are caught up to Mando because this season has been good. And there's been a lot of back and forth between the fans, but Mando has been good. Why am I talking about Mando, boys? We're talking
we
about
have
Bad
plenty
Batch.
of time to talk about Tuck. Last thoughts on Bad Batch.
It was a good batch, man. It was a good
It
batch.
was a
That's all I
good
gotta
batch.
say.
Such a
That's
good
all I gotta say.
Yes! Everybody clap! Everybody clap! That is the line that we needed. That was it.
Yes.
That was the sound
All
bite.
right.
Yep.
Cut it, print it. That
Cool.
was it. Good job, bud.
Seal of approval.
Seal of
Stamp it.
approval.
Stamp
Yes.
it.
All right. If you guys have any questions, you can email us at animalsquadron@gmail.com. Again, that is animalsquadron@gmail.com.
But did we
would love
have
for you
any
to be a part of
questions?
this.
Or did
Also,
Elijah even check the
we've never
email?
talked about it, but you can review us on iTunes. That would really help us out. Or, in Spotify, there's a little section down below now where you can let us know what you thought about the episode. We'd love to hear from you there too. Anyway, I almost said the Bad Batch. For the Animal
Wait,
Squadron,
Elijah, did
this
you
has
even
been
check
Mother
the
Goose.
questions this
See
week?
everybody.
Did you even
Adios.
check the questions this week?
Yeah, I can't hear you guys at all. I'm so sorry. Can you hear me?
Oh, you can't hear
give
us.
me a
I
thumbs
thought you were
up
just
if you can hear
joking. I thought you were just kidding around. Oh,
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Can you
wait,
hear me?
hold on.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Uh,
Okay,
I can
sorry.
hear you. Yeah.
I'm guessing we don't have to end the episode. Let me My headphones died. Give me a second.
Oh, wait.
Boo!
Hold
Boo,
up, let me type
Elijah.
something.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, I can hear you. Sorry
Elijah,
about
we've
that.
Good,
asked
good,
you,
good.
like, you've tried to end the show like 3 times, and Tuck and I are both like, do we even have questions this week?
Yeah, I said no.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear. Tuck, did you ever hear that?
I didn't, but I thought he was just kidding. I thought he was saying, like, no, I didn't look. And then just, like, because he had that smirk on his face, like he was joking around. So I thought he was just
No.
joking.
No, sorry. I'm just in a good mood.
Yeah, just smiling. Just
This was a banger. Keep it all in. Take us home, Mother
sure.
Goose. Take us home.
For the Animal Squadron, this has been Mother Goose.
They called me Boba Fett. I didn't like that. I went to the gym. I did curls. Goodbye, everybody. It's been fun.
and the one who won't make you sit through all of that, Lowtech Tuck. Adios.
Goodbye,
Everyone
everyone.
enjoys my impressions.
Everybody!
Goodbye.